866-660-5759 is the number to call with your question or comment. Back to Ladies Can We Talk with Debbie Georgatos on 660 AM The Answer.
Hello there. Welcome back, Ladies Can We Talk? As I always say, we hate talking over our great new music, but we have a great guest on this hour, and I want to have as much time as we can because we have another guest coming. This schedule got odd tonight. We have another guest at 6:45, so I'm going to jump right in. We have on the line, I do believe, Anne-Marie. Is your last name pronounced Murrell?
Murrell. Yeah.
Murrell. Hi there.
Hi.
So glad we have you on. You know what? I told our listeners, I've mentioned other times in the show how I think the energy among women politically in America is on the conservative side. I just think American women are waking up, and I just want to hit two subjects with you. I'd love to have you tell our listeners about what Politichicks is all about. You're the co-founder of that and why you did it and what it's all about. And then I want to turn and talk about our president's address tonight and what he should be saying in light of San Bernardino. But tell us about Politichicks.
Well, Politichicks began as a web TV show, and it was Victoria Jackson from Saturday Night Live and me and two other women. And it was a lot of fun, but we knew that we needed to do something more. And so ultimately, it turned into a website more than anything else, and I turned it into a national movement. And I now have writers across the United States and lots of contributors like Daniel Greenfield, Frank Gaffney, and Robert Spencer has written for me. So, and Dr. Dina Loudon, Morgan Brittany, and I talk across the United States about women and activism and encouraging people to step up.
Well, I know you're very much of a grassroots activist, and that is, right to now where I'm sitting in my studio, I have two of my leading ladies here who are on usually with the second hour, but they're here, and we just that's our middle name. We are just grassroots activists, serious conservatives, and the mantra of this show is all issues are women's issues, because I'm so frustrated with the idea that women are talked to by the left as though they only have a few issues on their minds that can sway them and sway their vote. And there's just so much of great importance happening in America. And so try to get women on board. Well, I want to turn and talk about, we talked about in the beginning of the show, the San Bernardino horrific Islamic attack. And President Obama has announced he's speaking from the Oval Office tonight to tell America, essentially speak about how he's going to fight terrorism, how he's going to fight ISIS. So you're a grassroots activist, you're a leader in grassroots. What do you think the American people really want to hear from him?
Well, I am at my parents' house. I'm visiting my parents' house deep in the heart of East Texas, about to watch his address. I've taken up a whole bunch. I'm drinking Pepto-Bismol, and I've taken half a bottle of aspirin to prepare, because I'm afraid that the way he's going to talk about fighting ISIS is gun control in America, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. How can we fight ISIS if they're trying to take our guns away from us in America? It's really imbecilic. I'm afraid that's the direction he's going to go.
I am too. And, we were talking in the first half an hour ago or so about the Oval Office. It's a rare thing to give a presidential address in the Oval Office, and George Bush did it in 9/11. And it's such a different flavor about America. The tone of George Bush at that time was to say, essentially, this is a good and great country and good people, and we're strong, and we're going to fight our way through this. He just radiated love of America and love of the American people, and I don't ever hear that from President Obama. What do you think about that?
Yeah, not at all. It's the absolute polar opposite, and I guarantee you, something that we're probably going to hear is going to be scolding and telling us, now don't jump to conclusions, and don't be mean to Muslims, and I know all of you Islamophobes out there are gonna just run off the deep end, so let's take away our guns, and that'll help control the shooting. That's the thing that I know he's gonna say it, and then I'll throw up.
We know. I favorited and retweeted something Frank Gaffney. He's been a guest on our show a few times. He's a good friend and love him. He was making the point about San Bernardino that he didn't say all these words, but the media spent several days struggling trying to determine a motive, as though they couldn't really figure it out. And we're saying it's like if they couldn't find a membership card in the Al-Qaeda local branch, they could not connect Islam with these terrorists. And I just think Americans are sick up to their eyebrows of this failure to identify the real problem.
Right. And that's one thing another thing I'm strongly encouraging people. When we vote in 2016, we've got to think of leaders that are not afraid to call Islamic terrorists exactly what they are,
right,
and who clearly understand the threat that all of us are under right now. And we are absolutely under threat. This is stealth jihad. And Frank, I'm grateful to Frank for introducing us, Debbie.
Yes, me too.
Frank Gaffney has been talking about stealth jihad for many, many years. He's been warning us. They don't need to fly planes into buildings. This is how they create fear and terrorism. They can kill clusters of people in unexpected places. And if the Obama administration continues trying to get us to look the other way instead of looking around us, that's the most dangerous thing that anyone could do to American citizens. Another thing that was really bizarre, because I was covering the whole San Bernardino shootout while it was happening, the fact they had physical descriptions, and I actually posted it on Politichicks. I had a police report. I found it it was through the San Diego Union Tribune, and I posted it as soon as it happened, and it said they are looking for three people of Middle Eastern origins. They wiped that clean soon after. And instead of the link that I provided, it was an AP subject that had no description whatsoever. Wow. Now think about that. This was an active shooting. These people, they knew that these people were armed and dangerous and possibly had bombs. And yet they were not giving physical descriptions to people who were in their houses hiding in closets. How dare they? Just to protect. And I never once heard the word Middle Eastern. I was watching every local California television station. I was watching cable, everything. No one said anything about the description of these people. And that is evil.
Yeah. It is evil. And, Anne-Marie, it's so far past political correctness. I think there's, political correctness and caution how you speak. People are sick of that. But this is like a conscious agenda. We are not going to cause concern about Islam unless we're absolutely positively forced to do it. It's an attack against the American people's liberty and safety to conduct media that way, conduct politics that way.
Well, I think the most telling thing out of this entire story was their neighbor that said, I saw suspicious activity. I saw them, at midnight with Middle Eastern people coming and going and deliveries and strange things. But I was too afraid of profiling to do anything about it. That is the goal of this administration. They have conditioned people to be so afraid. While they say, if you see something, say something, but not unless it's a Christian white guy trying to plan, going to Planned Parenthood. Right.
In that case, make things up. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you see something like Clock Boy, that was where if a kid walks into a school with a suitcase with wires hanging out of it, don't say anything because then he gets an invitation to the White House. That's where we are right now. People are afraid of their shadows. And this, I'm sorry, but this is, it happens throughout history. This is the way they do this. This is the way the government takes control. I sound like a tinfoil hat person.
No, you do not.
They create fear amongst the people, and they make them think only the government can save you. And then give us your guns and we'll protect you. Then we're done. It's over.
Anne-Marie, you are 1,000% right. We're all nodding along and wishing you were here in the studio with us because we have a lot of fun here doing the show. But sadly, we have to keep these segments pretty short tonight. I want to thank you so much for calling in. If you want to share with our listeners the name of your website, they can go and learn more about Politichicks.
Absolutely. Politichicks.com. And I have a book, What Women Really Want, written with Dr. Gina Loudon and Morgan Brittany and me. And we're going to be back in Dallas January 22nd. We're going to be, Morgan and I are going to be speaking there with Evan Fayette. So I hope I can meet you in real life. I know Frank's going to be doing an event, and I'd love to see y'all next time I'm out here.
I hope so, too. Look forward to meeting you. Thank you so much for calling in. We were speaking just now and hanging out with Anne-Marie Murrell of Politichicks. This is Debbie Georgatos and Carrie Kellerman and Brenda Randall. Ladies, can we talk on 660 AM The Answer? Come back after the break, and we have a great guest coming on after the break to update us on the UN Paris Conference on climate hysteria. Come back after the break.